Hi, I'm Tommy.
And I'm Paul.
Welcome to our podcast, Dementia from the Inside Out. Hello, and welcome to everyone around the world to our podcast, Dementia from the Inside Out. I'm Tommy Dunn, and I'm living with Alzheimer's.
My name's Paul Hitchmo. I'm also living with Alzheimer's.
Dementia is more common in people over the age of 65, but it can also affect younger people below this age.
So today, we look at young onset dementia, and it's also referred to early onset dementia.
Yeah, dementia does not exclusively affect older people. Young onset dementia accounts for up to 9% of cases of people living with dementia.
So, what is young onset dementia?
Right, young onset dementia is when a person develops dementia before the age of 65. It's called young onset dementia, and it's just as simple as that.
So, 65 years of age is not a biological reason. Dementia develops before the age of 65, and it's called young onset dementia. So it's really as simple as that.
Yeah, because they used to use that as the retirement age, so that's why that was. But early onset dementia can begin in people as young as 30, 40s, or in their 50s.
And in some cases, even earlier.
Yeah, when compared to older people, young people affected by dementia are more likely to have familiar inherited young form of dementia.
So they can have significantly higher psychological and physical distress.
You know, with them being younger, obviously they experience employment issues and have a significant financial commitment such as a mortgage.
Indeed, yeah. They can have a younger and more dependent family, as well as having additional care and responsibility to parents.
Yes, so with treatment and early diagnosis, you can actually slow the progression of disease and maintain a mental function.
So as we stated, early onset of the disease can begin with people in their 30s, 40s or 50s.
And what we importantly mostly said was, with treatment and early diagnosis, you can slow the progression of the disease and maintain mental function.
The first barrier you meet is people don't believe that you can have dementia.
That's it. Dementia is one of the major causes of disability and dependency among older people wide world.
It can be overwhelming, not only for the people who have it, but also for their carers and families.
Yeah, we also know that there's a lack of awareness and understanding of dementia, resulting in stigmatisation and barriers to diagnosis and care.
The impact of dementia on carers, family and society at large can be physical, psychological, social and economic.
Yeah, and as we said, dementia does not exclusively affect older people. Young onset dementia accounts for up to 9% of cases of dementia.
As we stated, it can be overwhelming, not only for the people who have it, but also for their carers and their families.
Yeah, now these symptoms can be attributed to depression, stress, the menopause, physical health problems and relationship issues.
Unfortunately, this can lead to a significant delay in getting an accurate diagnosis and access to appropriate support.
Yeah, so this can have a negative impact on not just the person with dementia's life, but also on the whole family.
The impact of dementia on carers, family and society at large can be physical, psychological, social or economic.
So it's important to know that people with younger onset dementia are much less likely to have memory problems than older people living with dementia.
Instead, they may experience problems with language, vision, behaviour or personality at the first symptoms.
Yeah, so the circumstances of younger people with dementia might be quite different from older people with dementia.
For example, they may be in paid employment and have young or teenage children living at home.
Yeah, because of this, people with young onset dementia need age-specific, disease-relevant provision of care.
However, these needs are not routinely met by existing services.
Now, by saying Alzheimer's or dementia is causing a lot of confusion. Alzheimer's is a type of dementia. Alzheimer's sits under the dementia umbrella.
Dementia is a group of systems. It is not a disease.
It's a group of symptoms that affects mental tasks, memory and reasoning. Alzheimer's is a disease.
So dementia can be caused by a variety of symptoms and conditions.
Yep, the most common of which is Alzheimer's disease.
Dementia that affects younger people can be rare and difficult to recognise.
But the person can be very reluctant to accept that there is anything wrong when they are fit and well.
It's hard enough to accept dementia when you're older, so it's a complete shock when you're young.
Yeah, it's also a sad fact that people living with Down syndrome who develop Alzheimer's disease is 1 in 50 developing the condition between 30 and 39, and 1 in 10 between 40 and 49.
So therefore, 1 in 3 people with Down syndrome will have Alzheimer's in their 50s.
Yeah, younger people are more likely to still be working when they're diagnosed with Alzheimer's.
And as we've already stated, they may also have young families and a mortgage to pay.
So there's going to be the added burden and stress of finances.
Therefore, support is required from the health, social, financial and legal systems.
Yeah. Now, people with young onset dementia are more likely to diagnosed with rarer forms of dementia and are more likely to have a genetically inherited form of dementia.
Prevalence rates for young onset dementia in black and minority and ethnic groups are higher than for the population as a whole.
Yeah, it's a fact that people from black and minority ethnic groups backgrounds are less likely to receive a diagnosis or support.
Another barrier for younger people with dementia may face, which can make accessing services even harder, is not to have their diagnosis recorded on their care records.
Yeah, because dementia is so strongly associated with older people, younger people can feel extra stigma and discrimination.
The trouble is, a younger person may not be believed when they say they have been diagnosed with dementia.
Yeah, we need early diagnosis of dementia in order to promote early and optimum management of it.
We can help manage by optimising physical health, cognition, activity and well-being.
Yeah, now this is not achieved by sacking the person as soon as they are diagnosed.
We also need to be identifying and treating accompanying physical illness and detecting and treating challenging behavioural and psychological symptoms.
So an appropriate and supportive legislative environment based on an internationally accepted human rights standard is required to ensure the highest quality of care for people living with dementia and their carers.
Difficulties with diagnosis in younger people may mean that they are diagnosed later, making their progression seem faster.
So, can you inherit early onset dementia? In most cases, the answer is no. Inherited or familiar forms of Alzheimer's are very rare. A few hundred people have genes that directly contribute to Alzheimer's disease.
There remains a need to raise awareness and develop support services for children of parents with young onset dementia.
Community nurses are the best placed healthcare professionals to identify and support the needs of both the person with young onset dementia and their children.
Admiral nurses are there for people living with dementia also.
Without a doubt, younger people living with dementia have a unique set of difficulties and opportunities compared to older people living with dementia.
Learning disabilities are a risk factor for young onset dementia, and many other risk factors relate to lifestyle and the effective management of existing conditions.
Yeah. To date, experts don't know what triggers the start of Alzheimer's disease. They suspect that 2 proteins damage and kill their nerve cells. Fragments of one protein, beta amyloid, build up, and these are called plaques.
Twisted fibres of another protein, tau, are called tangles. Almost everybody develops plaques and tangles as they age.
Yeah, but those with Alzheimer's disease develop many, many more. And at first, these plaques and tangles damage the memory areas of the brain.
And over time, they affect more areas of the brain.
Now, experts still don't know why some people develop so many plaques and tangles or how they spread and damage the brain.
So early onset Alzheimer's disease can be a difficult disease to cope with.
But it helps to have a positive outlook, really does, and to stay active and mentally engaged as possible.
Although Alzheimer's disease has no cure, you can make the best of a bad situation by keeping your mind and your body as healthy as possible.
Now, this can include eating a healthy diet, getting regular exercise, cutting down on alcohol, and using relaxation techniques to reduce stress.
It's also important to realise that you are not alone. Rely on your friends and family as much as possible.
So don't be afraid to seek out a support group. It's always good to talk to your peers.
So until next time, it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him. Goodbye.